Airbus Albo, of course, is about to leave China. It's about to make its way towards yet another international meeting before going back to yet another international meeting after that. All up 20 trips since he became Prime Minister. Of course, in China, he got the whole red square welcome. Well, I should say the red carpet welcome in Tiananmen Square. There we go. In Beijing, because, of course, Australia is out from the cold. What about the overhype rubbish the Australian media has been trying to feed you while you have had trouble feeding your kids?
One of the most important meetings of his prime ministership, sitting down with the Chinese president in Beijing.
Operation China Reboot, his most important diplomatic mission yet.
Anthony Albanese is just 2 hours away from a critical face-to-face meeting with the Chinese president.
The Prime Minister is in Shanghai for a historic official visit.
Historic, critical, most important thing of his prime ministership, while literally people queue for food in Australia. You would think actually turning up to his office and focusing on that would be the most important thing of his prime ministership. Oh, no, but the media was in tow and they know, never complain about these things. Write down what the PM wants you to hear and you'll get invited on the next one. Hey, we're meeting the ambassador for drinks at 7. Well, as you know, the Prime Minister had his audience with Xi Jinping and then on this program last night delivered one of the most bizarre press conferences you have ever seen an Australian leader deliver. Now, nothing came out of this meeting. No solid announcement, no promise about tariffs being removed, no promise that Australians in jails over there will go, no promises that the hacking will stop. Instead, a promise that you get to meet the Deputy President, the Premier, every year for the next 5 years. But have a listen to this bloke trying to live up to his own hype. This is how he talked up that pointless conversation.
We spoke about the importance of continuing to have dialogue, and it was a constructive discussion. We recognised that that was the beginning of a discussion between us, and it was a very much a discussion. We even had a bit of a debate about wine and the quality, and he certainly agreed that Australian wine is good. He spoke about the Tasmanian devils as being cute animals in Australia. They're probably not as cute as pandas. And I relayed the discussion I think we had at a press conference yesterday about pandas. He reminded us of the fact that not all pandas are cute by relaying the Kung Fu Panda story as well.
Honestly. So this bloke who had a meeting that produced nothing as part of his 20th trip overseas, while 3.7 million Australians can't feed their families, while petrol is something he could fix tomorrow but won't, let alone every other problem that we've talked about on this show. So how did the media react to nothing? Well, of course they want to stay on the gravy train, don't they? They want to join him on the airbus.
Well, warm and productive and friendly, according to the Prime Minister, Ange, the first meeting at a leadership level of this significance for 7 years.
China is turning a new cheek towards Australia.
In the Great Hall of the People, a great display for one person.
Oh, and another little thing. This wasn't as special a meeting as you may well think. He had world leaders yesterday lined up like planes arriving at Hong Kong airport. You see, as well as our Prime Minister yesterday, he met Serbia's Prime Minister. He also met the Cuban Prime Minister, and he met South Africa's Deputy President. Now, many of those countries, of course, have their hand out to China when it comes to paying for infrastructure in their countries. China does this because those countries, particularly in the South Pacific and Africa, don't have the capacity to pay it back, which means China ends up owning you. What a way to take over the world without firing a shot. Now, of course, Australia does not have that situation. Thankfully, the Belt and Road Initiative that Daniel Andrews wanted to sign up to has been torn up. But essentially, we're in exactly the same position. So China will either buy you off by buying you out or buy you off by saying that they'll buy things from you. Either way, China wins. And our media clapped it on.